Hi everybody, welcome to Finch Cadillac. My name is Kevin DeBrita and today I have with us one of Cadillac's newer SUVs, the XT4. This is the luxury model. Some people might call it the base model, but I'm going to show you why this Cadillac might have everything you're looking for. Let's take a look at it together. The XT4 comes in a few different models. As I mentioned, this is the luxury and this is where things start. If you don't have to have a sunroof and memory seats aren't a big thing for you, this vehicle could definitely provide you with everything that you're looking for. I'm hoping I can give you a quick overview of the vehicle today so that if you're thinking of test driving one, you'll feel really comfortable with it as soon as you get in the vehicle. And if you already own one, maybe I'll be able to teach you a few things. We're going to start at the back of the vehicle. Just going to pop the hatch so we can get a look at the cargo area. So decent cargo area for this size of SUV. There are some optional cargo covers if you're looking to keep your items concealed from onlookers. Underneath here, this is normally where you'd see a spare tire. In this vehicle, we have an inflator kit. If you are new to the vehicle market, you may have not noticed that a lot of vehicles are no longer coming with spare tires. Nice little dual exhaust on the bottom. I will close this down. Of course, back seat, the seats do fold down. We've got some movable headrests here, releases to get your seats down, and nice flat surface when you fold those seats down. Child anchors across the back. And of course, your cup holders, rear vents, and look at that, even heated seats in the rear. So I did say this is the luxury model. Everybody's got a heated seat. Nice little accent with the Cadillac logo here. And of course, everything that you would expect in a luxury vehicle: cruise control, power windows, power locks, keyless entry or keyless access. You'll notice on the doors, and all four doors, a lot of vehicles only have them on the two doors. These are our keyless access buttons. This is what allows us to lock and unlock the vehicle as long as we have the remote within 1 meter of the door we're trying to get into. While we're talking about the remote, we have lock, unlock, and start. If you're unfamiliar with the General Motors and the Cadillac start system, hit the lock button, hold the start button for 3 seconds, the lights will flash, and the vehicle will start. Upon approaching the vehicle, unlock the door, hop inside, and push the start button. So before I talk about the interior, I just wanted to go over the driver's seat controls. So we have our up and down, forwards and backwards, our power recline, and our lumbar adjustment. On the door, we have our power locks, mirrors, window lockout for your rear passengers, and then you've got express up and down front windows, which means with the push of one button, you can put the window all the way down, and by pulling it up, it'll go all the way up. If you did not want it to go all the way down, for example, just double click, and on that second press, the vehicle window will stop. Hop inside. So I'm going to kind of start from here, work my way all the way around, and by the time we're finished, you'll have a pretty good idea on whether you'll feel comfortable in this vehicle or not. Starting on the dash, our emergency brake is electronic now. There's a few benefits that come with that feature, having an electronic emergency brake. It is also tied into our transmission. For example, if you were to get a little distracted, leave the vehicle in drive and attempt to get out of the vehicle, as soon as you lift your foot off the brake, it's going to remind you to always shift into park. It will shift into park automatically, and it's going to activate that electronic emergency brake. So great for the times where we might be a little more distracted than we'd like to be. Down here is going to control your dash lights. During the day, we're not going to see any difference, but at nighttime, that will brighten or dim the display on your driver information center as well as your radio. We have our automatic headlights here, so no need to turn your headlights on or off. Leave it in the auto setting. If you do need to override your lights, you can turn them on, but the auto setting is going to work 90% of the time. For some reason you needed to turn the lights off, just roll this back to the off position. That will turn your lights off until you put the vehicle into drive, in which case the lights will re-engage. Steering wheel controls, heated steering wheel, very, very nice to have, especially in our Canadian winters. Forward collision alert. Forward collision alert, you can see there's a gap setting here. This is going to be the sensitivity of the forward collision alert. If you're getting too close to the vehicle in front of you, or they happen to stop a lot faster than you do, you'll get a warning with some LED lights reflecting out of this box onto the windshield. Really great feature. And then depending on the level of trim, you'll either have an audible alert, beep, 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 or your seat will vibrate in some of our sport and premium luxury models. Our cruise control, fairly straightforward as long as you realize what makes everything move. We have our cancel button on the outside should you be coming up behind a vehicle and want to coast. Our on-off button, you can see it right there at the top. So with that light illuminated, we can now activate our cruise control, and as simple as just rolling down, and then if you wanted to resume a setting that was already there, rolling up. Now if you're playing with this switch in person, you'll notice it kind of has like 2 clicks. 1, 2. What that does is when you do have your cruise control engaged and you want to speed up or slow down, maybe you're doing 100 kilometers an hour and you want to speed up a little bit, a double click will go from 100 to 105 to 110, and a single click would go to 111. And if you needed to slow down, for example, being in a construction zone, a double click will bring us from 111 to 110, and then a double click again will bring us down to 105, and another click will bring it down to 100. So really nice way to adjust your speed quickly as you're moving up and down through different speed zones. Voice control, you can use this for your Apple, or for your making your phone calls. We also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and voice pass-through. Voice pass-through is a fantastic feature if you have a phone that has voice control. By pushing and holding this button, you'll activate the voice control on your phone, and then you can do whatever your Google Assistant or Siri will allow you to do using voice without ever touching your phone. Great for reading your last text message, sending text messages, or even putting in an appointment in your planner. Over here we have the hang up for your phone, or the mute button if you are listening to the radio. On the opposite side, we do have our driver information center controls. That is this switch right here. Looking at our driver information center, we can scroll down through this menu. We got our tire pressures, average fuel economy, blank page. We can also move over. So that's our info page. Our radio page lets us know what we're listening to. Navigation, which is going to give you your compass in the luxury model. The luxury model does not have navigation available in it, but with the advancements of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, having the availability to use Waze, Google Maps, and iMaps, for most of my customers is superseding the onboard navigation, which is available on the higher levels. We also do have the OnStar turn-by-turn navigation, so if you want to have an onboard navigation, we can definitely handle that with our OnStar turn-by-turn and the monthly subscription. Going to continue to walk through. We don't have a phone connected. If you were connected, who you were talking to would be located there in the midst of a phone call. And then settings. Settings is where you're going to change your units, for example, from miles to kilometers. We're going to depress the switch. Now we're into our menu. We're going to depress it again for US, and then we've switched our speedometer from miles per hour. Also, our climate control settings and exterior temperatures have also switched to Fahrenheit. In relation to tire pressure, you'll go from kilopascals to PSI. I'm going to move that back so the next driver of this vehicle doesn't get a speeding ticket. There we go. Info page options, we can go through and we can select what is important to us. So we have our nice digital speedometer up at the top there. If we want to activate the other digital speedometer, we can. We've got 2 trip meters, fuel range, oil life, tire pressures. In relation to tire pressures, if one of your tires is low, it will notify you as to which tire needs to be topped up. Air filter life. The vehicle has an algorithm in it which will monitor your air filter and let you know when it is time to get a new one, or at least to check it to see does it require a new one based on how dirty it is. Fuel economy stats, average speed timer, not something that gets used very often, but if you ever needed to time phone calls or road trips, already built into the vehicle. Battery voltage indicator, coolant temperature, which may be important if you're towing. Same thing with your oil temperature. Engine boost, so you can see how hard the turbo is working while you're driving. Transmission fluid temperature. And if you like a nice clean look, you can keep the blank page activated. And to move back into that, and I'm going to go all the way back to information because we did turn on a few of those features. You'll notice that little scroll bar right there got a lot smaller because we've got access to more information. There's our blank page, transmission fluid temperature, engine boost, not doing anything right now because we're idling. Fuel economy, don't worry, this car's got 18 kilometers on it, so if you're thinking that's not very good, the vehicle hasn't had a chance to break in yet. Air filter life, we are at 90%. And then there's our tire pressure. So these are off by a little bit. You will notice that if you're not using nitrogen, your tire pressures are almost never perfect. And they are going to fluctuate as you drive or as the temperature outside fluctuates. But these are all in the green zone, so that is good news. We can probably take a little bit of air out of that one that's at 240 or pump up the other ones to 240. While we're talking about tire pressure, just want to take a look at the side door and our tire pressure sticker. So you can see that 240 in this vehicle is what is recommended, or 35 PSI. If you're ever curious on any vehicle you drive, at least any General Motors vehicle, these tire pressure stickers are going to be in the door jamb. Let's hop back inside. I think we've got most of our driver information center all set up. We did talk about the volume controls for the radio, which are also down here. Most vehicles will have the volume control up along the actual radio. They've made it nice and easy to go from the shifter to the volume to our dial or trackpad here, so we can play around with our radio without getting any fingerprints on it. Still a touchscreen, so if you want to use a touchscreen, you can, but I do find that I've started to get used to this, and most of my customers really appreciate having the option to do both. Well, while we're in the console area here, why don't I touch base on some of the other buttons. We have our mode button over here. Our mode button is going to put us from two-wheel drive to all-wheel drive to sport mode, and then off-road mode if you're driving gravel or sand or taking it up to the cottage. And put it back in touring mode, which is going to be front-wheel drive and the most fuel efficient. Beside our menu mode, we have our auto start stop or start stop button. Start stop will turn off the engine when you come to a complete stop. If you're not aware of it, could be a little bit startling. As soon as you lift your foot off the brake, the engine will restart. Some people really like the feature. It does save a little bit of fuel. Other people can't stand it, or they're not used to it yet, in which case in this vehicle, Cadillac gives you the option. Traction control, something you'd likely never have to turn off. If you do turn it off, there's our traction control off light. The only time you ever might want to turn off traction control is in the event you actually got stuck. This model is the only model that's available in two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. In either case, if you got stuck and you needed to kind of rock back and forth out of the little divot you've created, you are going to want to turn off your traction control. Track wheel we had talked about. This is going to allow us to go into our radio, our navigation, any of our other menus. You'll notice there's little arrows pointing up or down. So if we want to go up to one of our presets, we can click on it from here. Then we can go back down. This is our XM Satellite Radio 360, which is kind of nice. You can fast forward and rewind. Nice feature that they added. We want to get into our settings. We can go over and shift it all the way over. I like to adjust my sound, so we'll roll it, click on sound, and now we can go over, and I can adjust the treble and bass by turning it up and down, and then going over and do my mid-range and treble. So pretty intuitive. Follow the arrows, use the wheels. We can also use our balance and fade if you want to send more sound to the back. We can do that. So that's just actually by clicking. And then same thing up top. We'll move it back to the center. And then we can go back through our menu. So this is our return button here. This will bring you, if you want, all the way back to your home screen. Speed button to get to your radio stations and your phone settings. And then here we did talk about the volume control, as well as moving back and forth between your radio presets. The shifter, if you haven't driven one of these vehicles before, you're definitely going to want to know a little bit about this shifter. It's always going to remain in this position, and the shift button is located on the side. A lot of people believe it's on top, but on the side. So when you're grabbing the shifter right on top, your thumb kind of naturally hits that shift button. Pull it all the way back. It's going to put us in drive mode. It's also going to show that you're in drive right here on your DIC, or driver information center. To put it in reverse, push your shift button all the way forward. We're now in reverse. We have our backup camera on, and it also states we're in reverse over here. Sometimes when you're in drive and you like to hang on to the shifter, maybe you've accelerated a little bit too hard or gone around a corner and you've pulled it back again. That's going to put you in manual mode. Manual mode is going to allow you to shift using these shifters up here on the top, and it's going to state up here that you're in manual mode. Once in a while, you'll do this by accident and the car won't shift, and you'll be driving and you'll be in first gear or second gear, and you'll be wondering, why is it not changing gears? Have a look at your driver information center. You'll notice you're in manual mode. Pull it back one more time and it'll put you into drive. So once you know that the feature is there, very easy to move it from drive to manual mode. And lastly, to park the vehicle, I already showed you how to park the vehicle if you completely forget to turn off the car and you open the door, but your park button is right on top. The vehicle is now parked. In the event you forgot to park the vehicle and you turn the vehicle off, then you would the vehicle would automatically go into park, because you turned the vehicle off. We'll do that right now. We'll put it in drive, stop the engine, you heard the door locks, and it went into park. I'm going to start that back up again for us. So in behind the shifter, we have our USB-C and our regular USB port, as well as your traditional charging port if you had something else that you needed to plug in there. Above that, we've got our heated seats, both driver and passenger. They're 3-position heated seats, very simple to use. Rear parking sensors on this vehicle, they can be turned off. If you ever had a bike rack or a trailer hitch on the back, you may not want it beeping at you every time you put the vehicle in reverse. 4-way flashers. And then up top, we're going to go back to our radio. So this is a home screen for the radio. You'll notice there's 3 little buttons across the bottom. So we can use this screen, which is be a split screen. We had our phone connected. Then we have our main screen, and then your secondary screen. So you'll notice we've got lots on here. I'm going to do my best to cover those for you. So we're going to start with audio. We have AM, FM, and satellite radio. Also, if you click the More button, you'll notice that you've got your Bluetooth audio streaming, and there's also some apps that I'll get into. So if you want to connect your Spotify, you can connect that as well, which will work through your phone on your radio screen without having a cable connected. So really, really nice feature. Go to FM. We'll pick a radio station, do a direct tune, 97.5. And we're now listening to 97.5. This little star is your favorites button. So if you're loading up all of your favorite radio stations right away, click on the favorites button. We've now added that to our page of favorites. I'm going to go back and you can see 97.5 has showed up. And we currently have access to 2 pages of favorites. There's your second page. There's your first page. And the more radio stations you add, the more pages you get. I believe on this vehicle, it will go up to 6. Satellite radio, really nice browse feature. If you want to take a look at what is available through satellite radio, they've made it pretty simple for you to search through your genres. I'm going to follow some sports. We'll go back from there. So that's sort of the basics in your radio. A little bit of setting information for your satellite radio. And push the home button. We'll move on to our phone. Connecting a phone is pretty straightforward. Connect the phone, add a phone, and then search on your Bluetooth device. You'll also notice near field communication for Android users. Near field communication will allow you to essentially just set your phone right here, and it will connect a little faster than your traditional Bluetooth setup. I'm going to cancel that for now. We can also connect to multiple phones. So really nice, simple, easy to use Bluetooth system. Back to our home page. Wi-Fi hotspot on every Cadillac we sell. You can either have a monthly subscription that you do all the time, or if you wanted to activate it for special trips, you can buy some individual packages for those special trips. Users, if you have the option for users on your vehicle, please set it up. Use your OnStar email address and your OnStar password. It will program a lot of the stuff that we're going to get into our settings menu shortly into your profile, which means if you're getting into another Cadillac or even another GM vehicle, maybe a rental vehicle, maybe your next Cadillac, you'll enter in your user ID, and all of your settings, or the majority of your settings, will automatically transfer over to your new car. Really great feature, which I think is going to come in handy as you continue to move up through the Cadillac family. CarPlay and Android Auto, there's lots of videos on that out there. Android Auto, just know that you need to download the app Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay is a plug-and-play system. The app is already on the phone, and you will need to have the vehicle plugged into one of these USB ports in order for it to work. Apps we talked about briefly, Spotify, for example. If you wanted to download Spotify, your audiobooks.com app, or Glimpse, it works with your phone to do everything directly from your radio. I'm sure we will see some more apps added down the road, but that is what we have available right now. Secondary screen, you can access OnStar from this button or this button up top. You do have 1 month of complimentary OnStar standard. If you give them your credit card for pre-authorized payment, they will give you 3 months under the current terms. And the main reason we're getting all of our customers to activate their OnStar is for their 10-year complimentary coverage. So you'll get that email once a month. If you have an issue with your vehicle and your check engine light comes on, it'll notify our service department. If your tire pressures are low, you'll get an email regarding that. And of course, any recalls that may happen in the future, you'll always be up to date. So you definitely want to activate your OnStar and take advantage of that 10-year complimentary coverage. Climate control, we can activate our climate control from the touchscreen, or we can use the hard keys down here. Fan speed, temperature for driver, temperature for passenger, and then we have our airflow over here. If you're not familiar with automatic climate control, fantastic feature. Probably noticed the fan speed kicking up. It's cooling this car down to 20 degrees. And then as the car gets closer to 20 degrees, your fan speed is going to automatically lower. Super great feature. I use it in my vehicle all the time. I'm going to go back to the home screen again. Satellite radio we talked about. We can jump to satellite radio right from here, or we could use it from the audio screen. And then the My Cadillac app. You've got that app on your phone. You've also got it in your vehicle. So you can access it either way to get the information that you need through the My Cadillac app, booking service appointments, roadside assistance. It's great to have 2 different ways to access the My Cadillac app. Along the bottom, I call these speed buttons. So it doesn't matter what screen you're in, you've always got access to these. So if you want to jump to your compass or navigation if equipped, climate control settings, or your telephone settings, everything is right in here. So this is just a quick once over on the Cadillac XT4. I really hope you appreciated everything I showed you. If you have questions, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. I want to make sure that you feel comfortable in your new Cadillac and make sure you understand every feature that you have and how to use them, especially before you upgrade to your next Cadillac. It'd be nice to know how to use everything on your current Cadillac. Have a great day and drive safe.